I think the other thing for a lot of us, and having done so much cleanup over the years, I want to sort of like help with this as well. It's really easy to get panicked when you don't have access to your financials for a few months. There's all kinds of things. You're like, oh my God, what could possibly be going wrong? But the truth of the matter is, whatever goes wrong, you can clean up. Because like as with as many times as we've done this, I've yet to run into a problem that we weren't able to sort out later. Right. And so I think that's something that sort of just give you the opportunity to like alleviate some of that anxiety. Because I feel like the real fear that we have when we do these migrations is that some sort of a problem is going to happen that we can't fix. Some sort of a compliance thing is going to happen that's going to destroy everything. It's actually not going to be that bad. Like, you're going to run into problems. That's just the nature of the transition. But
Yep.
none of it's going to be so bad that you're not going to be able to fix it with another step or another action item or another thing that will
Correct.
just slowly, over time, as you do each of these things, refine your process more and more so that a year from now, you're actually wondering what you were doing, how you managed to
Right, we're
do
like, how
without
did I live
Workday for so
before
long.
this?
Yeah, and a lot of that is because it is really powerful. I cannot stress enough the power that exists within this software. Like, going back, we talked about this briefly, actually. So, I want before we started. So about 1 hour ago exactly, we talked about this, but we hadn't actually gone live then. So I want to bring this part of the conversation back, where some of you are going to find that Workday is not working as coolly as we say it does, and that it has some challenges, and it depends upon your organization and how much what modules they choose to implement and the company that they engage with. Because usually the way it works is Workday as a piece of software. They have partners that they work with who actually work on the implementation within organizations. So you're almost never working directly with Workday. I don't know that anybody actually works with Workday. You work with a Workday person who works with you. And that person is usually a secondary organization that has been certified in Workday implementations. And so they will then do that portion of it. Now, Workday has its own little modules. There's like, depending on whatever you want, they've got their own modules. And you've probably already seen them if you've been applying for jobs. Just about every one of them is now using a Workday module for that. You've got financial modules. You've got all these other modules. And depending on which ones and even within the financials, you've got your own little modules in there. There's a grant financials and a regular financials and so on. So depending on what features your organization wants to invest in, the output is going to look different.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that unless they do even if they do like the full Monty where they put all the money down and get every bell and whistle, you're going to have access to everything, but customizing your reports, your return, what you see, that is also going to take this process that we're talking about of doing the work to get ready, figuring out what information you're trying to access, what do you need, that's going to be required regardless of how much money they spend, how many modules you
Exactly.
implement, how great the data is that comes out. This is actually what decides what that success level is, because it helps you frame all of the infrastructure and it makes it easier and easier. So the good news is this: it actually doesn't matter what modules your organization picks. It really doesn't. Whatever it picks, the other side of the spreadsheet, you can figure it out, how to spit it, how to translate it into what you need. But it's important
Yes.
because I think sometimes you'll be talking to someone and be like, oh my God, we have effort reporting, because Workday has an effort reporting module, right? And so you may not have to deal with this for much longer. You press a button, you get the effort, poof. I wouldn't trust the data that comes over the changeover period. But like when you get a year later, you're going to be able to just press buttons and get the effort and bam, you're done.
Yeah.
But if your organization does not get that, doesn't have that module, then you have to use the financials to do it. Then Syra, I already know you have a module in your spreadsheet to do that. So like Syra has a module. She'll show you. It's on her website. Go to her website. She'll download it.
I love spreadsheets.
Oh my God, it's
I'm like,
amazing. So by the way, let me actually shameless plug for Syra here. And the reason I'm shameless plugging for Syra is because I didn't make the spreadsheets and they're not on my website. Otherwise, I would really shameless plug for me. If you are migrating to Workday, planning on migrating to Workday, think that you smell Workday in your future, go to Syra's website, Syra SVG Consulting?
it's actually valleyconsulting.group.
Valleyconsulting.group. I'll put the link on the screen when the time comes. But go to valleyconsulting.group, and 2 spreadsheets are up there that are amazing.